Oh shit. Then silence. That's the last thing Brandon Swanson's father ever heard his son say. Not a scream, not a struggle. Just 2 words and then 47 minutes of connection, gone in an instant. 19 years old. A phone call with his parents, and then nothing. No body, no phone, no trace. 17 years later, nobody knows what happened to Brandon Swanson in the dark on a rural Minnesota road. And the one piece of evidence that should have found him instead made the case even stranger. Brandon Swanson wasn't the kind of person you'd expect to just vanish. He grew up in Marshall, Minnesota, a small town, the kind of place where everybody more or less knows everybody. He graduated high school in 2007, and instead of rushing off to a 4-year university, he chose something practical. A 1-year program in wind turbine technology at Minnesota West Community and Technical College, about 40 minutes from home in Canby. He was close with his parents, Brian and Annette, and his younger sister, Jamin. Friends described him as responsible, grounded, not the type to disappear on a whim. And by May of 2008, he had real plans ahead of him. He'd been accepted to a college in Iowa, over 250 miles from home. For the first time, he was about to really leave the nest. May 13th, 2008, was his last day of classes. And like any 19-year-old finishing a program, he wanted to celebrate. That evening, Brandon stayed in Canby with friends. There was drinking, a few beers, according to the people who were with him. But nobody who saw him that night believed he was dangerously intoxicated. Just after midnight, he decided to head home. It should have been simple, a 30-minute drive back to Marshall. But for reasons nobody has ever been able to explain, Brandon didn't take the main highway. He chose back roads instead. At around 12:30 in the morning, his car slid into a ditch. He wasn't hurt. He got out and he called his parents. This is where the case becomes something almost unbearable to sit with. Brandon told his parents he thought he was near a small town called Lynd, just northwest of Marshall. Brian and Annette got in their truck immediately and started driving toward him, staying on the phone the entire time, trying to help him figure out exactly where he was. For 47 minutes, they searched. Brandon described his surroundings as best he could in the dark. His parents drove up and down roads near Lynd, scanning the shoulders, expecting to see his headlights or his car in a ditch at any moment. They never did. And then in the middle of the call, with no warning, Brandon said it. "Oh shit." And the line went dead. His parents kept driving, kept calling back. Nothing. By morning, with no sign of their son anywhere near Lynd, they went to the police. And what the police told them first is almost as chilling as the disappearance itself. This kind of thing happens with young guys his age. Wait a bit. He'll probably turn up. He didn't. Here's where the case takes its strangest turn. When investigators pulled Brandon's cell phone records, they discovered something that didn't add up. The calls he'd made that night hadn't come from anywhere near Lynd. They'd come from near a town called Taunton, roughly 25 miles away. 25 miles. In the dark. On foot, presumably, since his car had been found in the ditch near Lynd. To this day, nobody knows if Brandon realized he was giving his parents the wrong location, or if something about that night had disoriented him so badly that he genuinely believed he was somewhere he wasn't. Search teams shifted their focus. Dogs tracked a scent from Brandon's abandoned car to the banks of the Yellow Medicine River, fast-moving and at the time running high. For a while, investigators believed he might have fallen in. But years of dragging that river and the nearby Mud Creek turned up nothing. No body ever surfaced, and eventually that theory became harder and harder to believe, because bodies in moving water don't usually stay hidden forever. Over the following years, the search for Brandon Swanson became one of the largest in Minnesota history. More than 120 square miles were covered, on foot, by air, with cadaver dogs, season after season, as fields were harvested and snow melted, and the ground became searchable again. The local sheriff personally walked a stretch of the Yellow Medicine River every single day for a month. Brandon's parents kept their porch light on every night for at least 5 years, in case their son ever found his way home. He never did, but his disappearance changed something because of how police initially responded. Telling a terrified mother to just wait and see, Brian and Annette pushed for a change in the law. In 2009, Minnesota passed what's now known as Brandon's Law, requiring police to immediately investigate reports of missing adults instead of assuming they've simply chosen to disappear. It's a small thing, but it means other families won't hear what the Swansons heard in those first crucial hours. As for what actually happened to Brandon that night, nobody knows. Officially, the case remains open with the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. No arrest, no body, no answer. Just a 19-year-old boy, 25 miles from where he thought he was, saying 2 final words into a phone. So what do you think happened? Did Brandon genuinely not know how far he'd wandered? Or is there something about that phone call nobody's ever been able to explain? Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you want more cases like this, the ones that don't get the attention they deserve, make sure you're subscribed, because there's a new one coming every week.